Hello, everyone. My name is Joseph, and this is the Best English Podcast, brought to you by Best Eikaiwa. How is everyone doing? I hope that everyone's having a good day. Now then, since this is our first podcast, I would like to explain what this podcast is, why we decided to start it, and how it can help you with your English learning. So, let's get into it. First, I'm gonna go ahead and explain what this podcast is and what you can expect from it. This podcast is a way for you to improve your English level through easy listening. Now, what do I mean by easy listening? What I mean by this is simply that this podcast will be easy to listen to at all times. For example, you can listen to this podcast when you're doing things such as cooking, cleaning, driving, or just relaxing at home. I think there might be some people who don't know what a podcast is, so I'm gonna explain a little bit about podcasts. A podcast is kind of like a radio show. Podcasts are similar to radio shows. In other words, it is a show that is mainly audio. Audio means sound. So, you can listen to a podcast, but you don't really need to watch it. Also, although I will be the main host of this podcast, I plan on having many guests on the show as well. For example, talking with other English teachers, or just having regular conversation with other English speakers on the show. I think that might be a good way to mix things up. Mix things up means to make a change from the normal. To do something different from what is the usual. We say mix things up. I think one of the most difficult things about learning a language is improving your listening skills. I think listening to native level English conversations are oftentimes too difficult for people still studying English. So, I want this podcast to be a good way for people to listen to English in a way that is easy to understand. The more you listen to English content, even passively, the more your English ability will increase. Now, what does passively mean? Listening to something passively means to listen without focusing. In other words, even if you don't focus really hard on what I'm saying, as long as you're hearing this podcast, you can still improve your English level. Of course, you can improve even more if you focus hard on what I'm saying, but you don't need to. Also, I'm going to be doing my best to use English that is easy to understand. Sometimes I will, of course, use words that are hard to understand, but I'm also going to be explaining these words as much as I can. For example, I just used the word passively a little bit ago. I think there are many people who don't know what the word passively might mean. So after using this word, I explained its meaning. So I hope that this will be a good way for you to improve your vocabulary as well as your listening. If you hear new words in English, but you don't learn their meaning, I think it won't be very useful. So, I will always do my best to explain difficult words when I use them. Next, I would like to explain about the content of this podcast itself. Simply put, I'm going to talk about everything. I'm going to talk about many different kinds of things. Of course, I will be talking a lot about learning English, but I will also talk about many other things as well. Also, I will be reading the comments of these podcasts a lot. If there is a topic or theme that you would like me to talk about, please write it in the comments below. I'll do my best to talk about things that my audience is interested in. Audience means the people who look at my videos or the people who listen to my videos. This is again a good way to improve your vocabulary as well. For example, if I talk about America in a podcast, you can learn many new words and things about America. If I talk about food in a podcast, then you can learn many words about food. I think this is a very good and natural way to learn new words without really trying. Without putting in a lot of effort, you can still learn new words and expressions this way. Lastly, I would like to give a quick self-introduction as to who I am. My name is Joseph Curley, and I am currently a teacher at a company called Best Eikaiwa. Best Eikaiwa is a private English school in Japan. Because my job is in Japan, I am currently living in Japan. I'm in Japan right now. Although I am currently in Japan, I am from the United States of America. I was born and raised in the United States. More specifically, I am from the state of Arizona. Arizona is in the southwest part of the United States. I have a lot of things I want to say about Arizona, but I will talk about them in future podcasts. Also, if there's anything in particular, anything specific that you want to know about Arizona or America, by all means, please write them in the comments below. I'll do my best to talk about them. So, that's all I have for this first podcast. What do you think about it? I think it's going to be a very fun time. If you have any ideas or suggestions, please also feel free to write them in the comments below. That's all I have for now, so until next time, see you!